Welcome back to another episode of RMV.
Hey everyone, I hope you're having a fantastic day.
I've been eagerly waiting for today's episode because here with us we have Psychic Sabrina.
Hello, I'm shy.
Don't worry.
My name is Sabrina Meglio, but people call me Sabrina. And I'm a mystic, a psychic, medium, and all things supernatural. I don't know what else to say. Like anything supernatural is in my realm. I've been doing psychic readings since my early 20s. I was pretty much born psychic. I could see spirits and know things since I was like maybe 2 or 3. Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. So, how do you react to spirits and stuff? Since you knew from it wasn't a normal thing, right? So how did?
I mean, look, for me, like the spiritual world or just knowing things is like I always say it's my first language. Like spirit is literally my first language. And I mean, I grew up speaking French and Italian. So, like technically English is really my third language. But so for me, it was just always so natural and it made sense. But, as a kid, you don't really know how to explain it. You don't really know how to how do you tell your mom she's going to have a car accident? When I was about, I don't know, 11 or 12, I told my mom once, don't drive today. I don't want you driving. You're going to get into a car accident. My mother would be like, damn it, Sabrina, stop saying negative things like that. And then my mom got into a car accident. I mean,
wow.
Thank God she was okay. Her car, was okay. But she came home in a grouchy mood. I mean, so it was sort of like keep your mouth shut because people would get mad, which they would.
Yeah. So your parents believed you and everything about.
Now, the funny thing is, my mom and my dad were divorced since before I was born. But when I was a kid, when I would stay with my stepmom and my dad, my stepmother would always say, stop talking to yourself, Sabrina, because I was always talking to spirits.
Yeah.
And my stepsister just recently said to me, I always knew you were psychic. You used to say things. And I was like, why didn't you ever say anything? I just think that they didn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
My mom's friend told me once, my mother never told me, but I guess she told a friend, well, it was a friend of ours, that when I was little, I would predict my mother's blind dates to a T.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
I never knew this because my mom never told me, but our mutual friend told me after she passed. I was like, shit.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So you can predict the future kind of then, right?
I mean, yes, there are some things that I do see that do happen. But sometimes things change because we all have free will choice. Like I could tell somebody, I don't feel you should do A, B, and C. And then they could go do A, B, and C, and then there's a different outcome.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But it's still
okay.
So I was gonna ask, so when did you figure out that you can talk and connect to spirits?
Since I was really young. But really understand what I was doing, 14.
Oh, okay.
13, between 13 and 14.
So when did you realize that you wanted to become a psychic? You couldn't live this a normal life?
Well, okay. It's not like I always say this to my friend. It's not like I woke up one day and said, hey, I think I'll be a tarot reader. No. I didn't choose this profession. This profession chose me. So my dream was music. I used to work at a music record store. I mean, music was always my love. And that didn't really pan out. So I was working at this publishing company, and I would do little readings here and there. Just, I lost my keys. Where are they? And I would try to find them for people, but nothing serious. And then I got a job offer to work in the music industry, but it was more to do concerts, like to promote concerts. And I would travel and I got all excited. So I quit my B job, as I called it, working at this this publishing company, doing literally peon work. I was like a stock person. It was, and so I'm all excited. I quit my job. I'm like, oh, my dream job. And then 3 days later, we find out that the guy that hired me was a con artist and con this guy out of all this.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I didn't have a job. So I was like flipping out. And the spirits are laughing. Oh, don't worry. And I'm like, what do you mean? So, and I am telling you, I am not even exaggerating. So I went to a temp agency and, looking for a job. For 6 months, every temp agency or every job I would get, at the middle of the day, they'd send me home. And I'm like, what did I do wrong? Like, what did I do wrong for 6 months? And they're like, Sabrina, man, we can't find you a job. Like, you're a screw up. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And the spirits are like, because this is not what you're doing. We're not going to let you have a job. We want you to do readings. And they told me specifically, we want you to call this place and you're going to get a job there.
Wow.
And I said, no, I'm not. So I call the place. It was a bookstore called the Psychic Eye. Do you guys have them up in the Bay Area? Or did you have the Psychic Eye in the Bay? I don't think they exist over there anymore.
I don't know. No, haven't heard of that.
Yeah, most of them kind of, I think, went out of business. But so I call, and then they say, no, we don't have any availability. And then the day later, they call back and they say, oh, we do in Burbank.
Wow.
Yeah, and the lady hired me right on the spot.
Wow. So it's all the spirits working together and planning it out for you.
Yeah, because I honestly, for 6 months, I couldn't get a job. It was ridiculous.
Wow.
So,
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. And when I first started doing it, I thought, what the hell am I gonna, I don't know what to do, because I would just do readings. I'd tell people what I see and then let them be on their way. And this was different. This was, they scheduled a 15-minute or they scheduled a half an hour. And I'm like, oh my God. But the spirits would just walk me through it.
See.
Yeah.
Wow. So when you say like the spirits are like, laughing at you, so there's like always around you. Is it always around you? So it's like the same group of spirits always around you, following you? It's like,
yeah. We all have spirit guides.
oh.
Yeah, we all have spirit guides. And, people that are light workers, so people that do, that are healers, even doctors and nurses. When you're of service and you're doing it in the light in a positive way, and in some ways you guys are actually light workers, because I actually did your numbers and I was like, oh my God.
Okay.
I was just doing your energy stuff. We all have spirit guides. So yeah, I have new spirit guides though now. Like sometimes spirit guides will they'll come in, and then sometimes you'll get new spirit guides, like depending on if you're going through a hard time, or let's say you got a promotion, or you're you're leveling up in the world. So you're going to have these other spirit guides to kind of help you as well, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So like when you say spirits, like do you see them like as a person? Like,
oh yeah, that's tricky. Well, sometimes I can see them really clearly, like I see you. Like other times I have a very strong sense of them. Like I can feel them to the point where I almost can tell what they look like. Because if you think about, we're all energy. So if you think about the energy of us, it vibrates at a frequency, it creates some type of a language.
I see.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's like a memory, kind of like, when we have memories, or like if we have a dream, it's like you remember like, oh, like I don't know, someone random popped up in my dream, but I don't remember who it is, you know?
Yeah, maybe like that a little bit, yeah. And then sometimes I see them in my third eye, in
Oh,
the inner eye,
interesting.
real clearly, yeah. Because I mean, if you psychics, that's how we see things. Like it's so funny. My friend, oh my God, like sometimes I'll psych on stuff for her. I love psyching on my friend Siobhan. Well, she's psychic too, so it's like, and it's like I'll see a movie playing in my head, so I could see it's like a movie. It's a trip.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. So do they talk to you like a normal voice? Just like talk to you like that?
Sometimes I will hear like it does sound like voices in your head. Like it'll either be a female voice if it's a female energy, or a male voice if it's a male energy. Or sometimes they don't really speak, but it's like they give me a wave of energy and it's a language, and then I have to download it and go, oh, okay. It's like I translate it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's a whole different language. Look,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a whole different language. Yeah.
Wow,
So
that's
when you were
amazing.
in school, I was gonna ask, when you were in school, like as a young, teenager, like, did your friends maybe like tease you, or like, have any spirits like, came to you, and like, you're hearing voices in school? Like any story you can share?
Oh, well, I kept most of it to myself.
Oh,
I,
okay. Yeah.
a lot of it I kept to myself, but one story though, in particular, I've always been able to see spirits and then elementals, so angels, fairies. People will say, "You're crazy, Sabrina. You can't tell people you see fairies." It's like, but dude, they exist. Like seriously.
Wow.
So when I was a teenager, just where we would walk, there was always a lot of grass. So I'd be walking on the grass, and the fairies would yell at me and say, "Stop walking on the grass. Use, you know, go over there on the sidewalk," right? They would get really mad. They're like, "You're stepping on us." So one day I told my friend, and she said, "You're nuts. Literally, you're crazy."
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That friendship didn't last long after that. So then I was like, keep your mouth shut.
Oh, so you can also see fairies too. So what do fairies actually do? Like, what are they
Uh,
like like in movies and stuff? They're like the typical have wings and just like fly around.
they do have wings.
Uh-huh.
Some fairies are actually tall, like tall.
Oh,
They
wow,
look,
really?
yeah, they look like people. Hmm.
Oh,
And some fairies actually they work for the light. They they help. They're very, the ones that I've encountered, really smart, um, intuitive. Also, they have their own intuitive abilities. Um, they are also very sensitive, and like, I mean, they're not human, but they have emotion, and they do things differently. They don't sleep; they nap. I learned that, which is kind of cool.
Oh,
Yeah, like like we sleep 8-10 hours. They'll
yeah.
take like naps.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. They so they don't have like, they don't call them clans. They call them communities. So they'll like, like their community is sort of like their tribe.
I see.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
not like little things like that I learned. Um, and they're funny, and they're just fun, and they like to really more like bring out positive energy, or positive, they like to bring out happiness in people. That's what I experienced.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's interesting to know the fairies, actually exist too. That's
Right, I mean, there's all sorts of things that are out there.
yeah, that's
Really cool.
amazing.
Yeah. Like I've watched, the Tinkerbell movie. I'm like a
Yeah.
huge fan of Tinkerbell. I have like
Oh yeah, I love Tinkerbell. Yeah.
stickers in the
There was this really good, it was darker though, like on Amazon Prime, they had this series, but I think it only lasted one season. and it was with Orlando Bloom. Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot it. And it was about fairies. It was like this sort of like fantasy. It was actually really good, but of course, they were not nice to the fairies. They were outcasts. But when I watched it, I was like, huh, they did an interesting portrayal of fairies. Not bad. So it was kind of cool.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
That's interesting. Yeah.
yeah, that was kind of
So,
interesting.
uh-huh. So you also mentioned that you can also communicate with angels.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes like I have in the past, yeah.
Oh,
Or
wow.
when I meditate, but yeah, sometimes they'll come to me when I'll do energy work too. I also do energy work. And sometimes the angels will come.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of your work, so as a psychic, you do readings and healings, and so
Mhm.
you do appointments like that. So what's your typical session like?
Oh God, every session is different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, like sometimes I'll have a theme of the day. It's weird. Like that day, everybody is heartbroken and, they're either breaking up with their significant other or they just broke up. Like it'll be like a theme of the day. It'll be really intense, like it's like, oh my God. And then some days it goes from really heavy, like I'm communicating with my client's son that passed away, to, oh my God, this is going to be a great year and you're getting married and this, and it's like, so it
Yeah.
goes from like one extreme to another. It's
Yeah.
different. So it's almost like I have to be prepared for just anything. Yeah.
That's really cool because
Oh,
like I was reading your website and it said that you do like a animal Reiki healing.
Oh, animal Reiki. Yeah. Like I give energy work to some of the animals. Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's like something
oh
new.
wow. So you also work with animals
Uh-huh.
too.
Yeah. I love
That's
animals.
so cool.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
Do you have a story, Sabrina?
Oh wow. Yeah, actually I do. That's so amazing that you said that. So, one of my neighbors, she actually just moved out. Her name is Abby. Her friend had this beautiful dog that was poisoned. And and I have to say that my neighbor, she's not really a believer, but she was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
listen, man, we're desperate. We'll try anything. You're
Mhm.
like, if you say, can you psych on the dog? Is the dog gonna live? Like, can you do a healing on the dog? So I was like, okay, let me go see what I can do. So what I did is I did more of an astral healing, which an astral healing is what you do is you meditate and you go kind of out of body and you go to kind of leave your body and you astral travel to where they are.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, there's actually a movie, Insidious. It's like that. If you've heard of the movie Insidious?
I mean, I've heard of it, but I never watched it. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Astro Travel or whatever you mentioned. Yeah,
Oh,
we
astral
actually watched
projection.
that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. I have to
Yeah.
check it out now. So I see him and I do a healing on him. I'm doing energy work, and then I see all these other dogs in there, and I'm like, oh,
Oh.
and I started crying because I mean, I'm a sap. I cry watching Cinderella. I used to have a stepdaughter, and my stepdaughter and I, we would sit and watch movies together, and I'd be crying, I
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
get emotional. So, and I'm crying. I'm like, oh no, all these dogs need healing. So I heal that dog, and then I just sort of send healing energy to all the other dogs. And the dog tells me I'm going to live.
Oh,
So I
okay.
was like, oh, okay, cool. I've got some good news, and whatever. So, I get back in my body and whatever, and I text my neighbor, hey, the dog I feel will live, and I think it's going to be okay. Let me know. So I don't hear anything for like 4 days. So I'm like, okay. Then finally, the dog is okay.
Wow.
Here's the better part is that about a week and a half later, my neighbor and I go to the woman's house where the dog was poisoned. And she's going to take us to dinner.
Mhm.
So I go, the minute I get into the house, that dog runs right up to me like he knows me. And
Oh,
and I was like, I just started crying. It was, the dog knew me. It was so amazing because I didn't expect that.
wow. Yeah, because you saved the dog's life.
I mean, I don't know if I think the vet saved the dog's life,
Yeah.
honestly. But I mean, I helped maybe, you know.
Definitely, yeah. That's amazing. Oh my gosh.
It was really, I was like so touched. I was like, okay, this is cool.
So did your like neighbors then like maybe believe you? Kind of.
I don't know.
Yeah. Mhm.
I let it go. I mean, the thing is people either believe or they don't, and I'm not here to judge, and I'm not here to try to get you to prove. You
Mm.
either do or you
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like if they experience it themselves, like, they might believe it. But if it's like, oh, I'm just like, I was like, oh, I saw a spirit there, I saw a ghost or something supernatural. If I just tell someone, then they would be like, are you crazy? They don't even exist. So they won't even believe it unless they personally experience it themselves.
That's so true. Yeah, that really is true. And it's amazing though, like some people will, like, even if they do experience it, they'll try to find a way for logic. And, it's like
Yeah, exactly.
sometimes there is no logic explanation, But yeah, that's true. You're right.
Yeah. So we actually have some questions from our listeners, and
Oh,
yeah, so one of our listeners at Mernea Sessi asked, "What was your crazy experience and reading you've had with the supernatural?"
well, crazy experience. God, I've had so many. Crazy experience. I had a really scary experience happen to me once when I was going to the market.
Hmm.
You
Oh
know,
wow. Yeah.
So I was living in Burbank at the time, and personally, to me, Burbank is the Bermuda Triangle. It's really weird energy there. If anybody has lived in Burbank,
Okay.
um, so one day I'm walking because the market was really walking distance from my house. So I'm walking to the market, and as I'm getting ready to go in, I see this really tall, skinny, dark feature. It is dark clothing, just
Hmm.
like a dark mass. And he's standing right where the market doors open. And it's those sliding doors where they, whoosh, whoosh,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
they open and close. And this kid on the other side is doing this with his hand. And this
No.
this this dark entity is getting this kid to do this. And I am telling the spirits in my head, what the, you can just
Yeah.
imagine the word,
Yeah,
right?
I get it.
Yeah.
And I am freaked out and I'm angry because I'm thinking this dark entity can kiss my ass. I
Yeah.
am gonna let this little something happen to this little boy. And the spirits are like, just relax, relax. We have to get into the store. Let's go around. So I go around and I'm energetically trying to get the mother to get the kid away from,
The
he's still
door. Yeah.
this. And he almost hurt himself badly.
Wow.
So finally, the mother pulls the kid, and I'm like, oh, phew. I mean, like, I know but seeing it was really creepy. It was just creepy. And, it was like dark energy does exist. You have to be really
Yeah.
careful.
Wow. Oh, so how do you get like rid of bad spirits or I guess demons
Evil
if you've
spirit.
encountered them
Yeah.
My friend and I had a couple of experience. Yeah, I've had a couple of experiences with,
with demons?
yeah.
Oh my God.
You would like to share?
Um, One, God, gee, which one? Well, okay, so I have a really good friend, and his a friend of our mutual friend of ours. She was renting this house in Pasadena, and I love Pasadena, but Pasadena is really old energy, and so
Hmm.
there's a lot of spirits. I could tell you crazy stuff that happened to me when I lived in Pasadena. It was insane.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So she kept saying, she goes, I think I have a dark spirit in my basement.
Oh,
'Cause
okay. Yeah.
the dog would start barking. I was like, okay.
Mm.
So I make my own incense, and I make like purification and exorcism incense. And I'm like, okay, whatever, it can't be that bad. Oof. I go down into the bay, like it's like these literally like out of a movie. You walk all the way down these weird steep steps,
I can imagine it. Yeah.
Yeah.
right? And all of my heart's pounding, and I'm like, oh, there was a smell. I'm like, oh, this isn't good. So my God, the spirits always say, do not be afraid of it. The more you're afraid of it, the more it will hurt you, the more it will try to harm you. So you
Mm.
got to go in, and you got to be the warrior now. Like you have to just,
Face your fears. Yeah.
yeah, you have to be fearless. So I go down there, and I basically start yelling at it, and I use profanity, which we'll not say here. But I basically am telling it, get the hell out of this house. You are not welcome here.
Yeah.
And the spirit's telling me, no, you leave the house. I command you to leave. And I'm like, no, 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 asshole. You and I,
Yeah.
So I do the purification incense, and it doesn't help. So then I'm having a conversation with the spirits and this dark thing, and this thing isn't going to leave. So
Yeah.
I had to tell my friend, you got to move, because this thing isn't going to go anywhere. It's not worth it. And the weird thing is that my friend, she was starting to act weird. Like she was starting to do things.
Was
Yeah.
that like
It was, but it was like excessive crazy shit. It was just excessive stuff.
what?
So and like my other friend, and I was like, dude, move. But we
Yeah.
left this house, and I'm like, I'm telling you, you gotta go. You gotta go. So what
Yeah.
I also did was I told him, I said, what you should do is you should put like, those like Hindu chants. There's like any type of chants that
Yeah.
are like the Om, the
Yeah.
any by Lord Ganesha, Lakshmi, anything, Kali,
Yeah.
anything. And then there was this other Buddhist chant, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. I was like, you need to make cassettes of them and put them downstairs to raise the vibration.
Yeah.
Because those types of chants raise the vibration of your home, and they don't like that. So it's like if you have negative energy in your home, or you have dark energy, you can play those over and over again. And after a while, they have to leave, because it creates a higher vibration in your home.
Yeah.
So she did that for a while, and it kept it at bay. But they got kicked out.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy though. It's scary for me to think about. It's like a demon's like in my house, and it's like,
It's
what
like
do I do?
Right? I mean,
conjuring movie like that. Like, oh my God.
yeah. And, I don't want no demon in my house. You're not welcome.
Yeah.
You're not welcome.
Yeah.
So yeah, you were all, so possession is also a real thing, huh? Like demons or spirits can enter someone's body.
I mean, to be very honest, I've never really dealt with any possessions.
Okay.
I'm sure it exists. Oh, I'm sure it does.
Uh-huh.
I haven't, thankfully, knock wood, although no, that's not true. That is not true. Oh my, you're right. Spirit's telling me, hey, Sabrina, no. Oh my God, you're so right. Yeah, I did experience it once. See, I try to forget about.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it can happen. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
I've only like seen the like Megan was mentioning the possession like in movies, and it's I don't know. I feel like the movies are just over exaggerating, but then when I think about it, like I mean, it could happen in real life.
I mean, my guys don't like it when I watch. I'm not really into horror movies. I'm not.
Mhm.
I mean, look, I like old slasher movies. I love campy.
Mhm.
Things. Anything, old Friday the 13th, like the original, Nightmare on Elm Street, the original
Yeah.
Halloween, John Carpenter, love that. But these possession movies, I can't, I don't watch them. They don't let me, the spirits. They
Oh.
don't let me. They say it's not good for you. Just don't do it. And sometimes though I'm curious because I get, I'm a curious mind. So I'm more like, I just want to see what the hell are they going to do with this? Like, that's more why I'm like watching it.
Yeah.
But I think, look, it's Hollywood, it's movie. You have to embellish things.
Okay. Okay.
But,
Yeah, one of my favorite TV shows and my mom, we have a favorite TV show. It's called Supernatural. I don't know if you've heard of it.
yeah, I've
Yeah.
never seen it though, but I've
Yeah.
heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's my mom and I, we both have a favorite TV show. We always watch it together. And yeah, it's about like spirits in the world of supernatural and stuff like that. So yeah, I was wondering, like, they always, use like they always use salt to like make sure ghosts aren't, next to you, or like if you smell like a starch or something like that, if you feel cold, that means there's a sign of spirits. Is that all true?
Okay, so the sign of the cold, like if you're in a room and it gets really cold,
Mm-hmm.
yes, that's
Okay.
salt. See, that's where it's tricky. I mean, salt it's a very good purifier. It is like sometimes when I'll light a candle, I'll put salt around the candle for protection. Yes, that is true. And if you're casting a spell, you want to cast a circle, you can put, salt. Yes. But salt's not evil. It's positive. And
Okay.
I'm going to say one thing: pentagrams are not evil. And a lot of these, even the Charmed, and like I love watching supernatural stuff too.
Yeah.
Like there are some shows. Like I used to watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer all the time. Love, when especially when it's on Amazon for free. Right now I'm watching Angel over again. I love that. Like I love watching supernatural
Yeah.
stuff. But like, they always portray as these like the pentagram being evil.
Yeah.
In if you really do your research, it's really not the devil's sign. It's not evil. You can use it for evil, but it's really not evil.
I see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
interesting.
actually one for protection.
Okay.
And it has all the elements, right? Earth, air, fire, water, and in the middle, spirit. So if you ever see one, don't get afraid because it's not evil.
Oh, okay, okay, cool. Got it. Yeah.
And you were saying, so what else do you guys watch that's supernatural?
I watch Stranger Things. I think Stranger Things is my favorite.
Oh my God, I love that show.
Yeah.
That is a really good show. I have to finish watching season 3.
Yeah, Marsh and I are both waiting for the next
It
season.
gets really intense. Like I was also really scared because I watched it at night and I'm like, oh my God, I can't sleep. And I really can't sleep. It's just like the monsters are like capturing me. And I'm like, I cannot sleep. But it's a really good show. I enjoy every minute of
I
it.
enjoy it too. I love the girl that has telekinetic power.
11.
Yeah,
Yeah.
11.
I love
Yeah,
that.
she's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I also like watching different supernatural shows, like, I don't know, if you heard of like, like wolves, like Teen Wolf, if you heard of
Teen
that.
Wolf.
Oh, Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then Vampire Academy. It's
Vampire Academy,
That
that one, yeah.
Vampire Diaries.
And then
Twilight, I think that's also kinda.
Twilight. Oh,
Which
that's the
one?
vampire. That's vampires.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Twilight, yeah.
Twilight. What else? What else have I seen that I actually like? God, I can't think. Okay, so I used to watch. There's the show that was, but it's not on anymore. It's really old. It was called The Dead Zone.
Oh, okay.
That's really good because he plays a psychic. With just one touch, he can see things. It was really good. So I used to love watching that show.
Oh, that's interesting. That's cool.
Yeah, it used to be on USA. It wasn't like it was on a cable show.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, going back to the spirit talk. So I just wanted to share a story. So this is like I think this happened like I think 2 years ago. So we were at like a Diwali party and like so for Diwali it's like an Hindu festival. I think Sabrina you might have heard of it, right?
Festival of Lights.
Festival Lights Diwali.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So basically we celebrated Diwali and we went to our friend's house, right? And so they have like crackers and like we play with random things. And then that day I was like wearing like a half sari type of thing, like a lehenga. It's kind of like a dress, right? It's like a long dress. And so in her house there's like candles like everywhere, like beside the garage. I think so you gotta be really careful when you walk. So it was like 7:30 we just like went out, to have some fun, right? And then like so since my sari, like the shawl is like really long, so I was like standing somewhere, okay, and this shawl went inside the candle, okay. Yeah, I know it went inside the candle. And then no one noticed because everyone just I think going back, and my best friend and I were just there. And then I was like, wait a second, I feel something in my back, right? And I literally like started touching the fire, my shawl, like, come on, right? And then my friend's like, oh my god. And so what happened was the polyester like stick, and I was like, oh my god, I was about to die, and I got shocked, and I was literally like taking it out, the shawl away from me, and I literally threw, I couldn't even, and I took it out, and then I went to my parents like, oh my, this happened, and she was like, oh my god, why didn't you be careful? I'm like, I don't know what happened. So basically, what happened was I think I was standing where the candle was, and I wasn't aware of it. So the shawl just came in, like it went inside the candle, and it went on fire, and I literally didn't even touch it because it was just such a shock to me. And then after that, like my parents were like, oh my god, like what happened to you, right? And then like we came back home like around night, and like she did this whole, it's not like a puja, but like she literally just told me, she's like, Varsha, stand over here, and she like took lemon and leaves, and she literally did this like in a circle. And I was like, oh ma, why did you do that? And she's like, oh, this will just like ward off like any spirits away or something. I was like, oh, okay, I understand. But yeah, and then I was like, oh my god. And then literally the shawl is still here. I think we threw it away like last, I think a few months ago. We threw it away because we were like, we don't know what to do with this, and it's like full sticky, like it's just like stick. So
Wow.
I'm like really glad like I didn't die, because what if like my whole shawl went on fire? I couldn't even be in the
You
situation.
were you were so protected. That's like your spirit guides protecting you, or your yeah, those
Yeah.
are like your protectors. I don't
Wow.
know, Mom. I would have done the same thing. I would have said, okay, let's clear your aura. Come on.
But yeah, that was just like like a life or death situation. That was
Wow,
like,
thank God you're okay.
yeah, I know. I'm like really glad. I was like, oh my god, I can't even imagine. Like
Oh
I
my
couldn't even
God.
go back, but I don't
Uh,
do it anymore.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, it was really like I actually had a great time like talking about like everything in general.
me
I,
too.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me on. This was really fun.
yeah.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
As always, thanks for listening to this episode. We hope you guys enjoyed it and stay tuned for more. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for more fun and entertaining episodes. Special guests will be aired on YouTube, and other collabs will be on other broadcasting platforms. Visit our website megaversion.com and email us at megaversion2020@gmail.com if you have any media or inquiry requests. Feedback is always appreciated.
Have a great day, everyone. It's me, Varsha,
And Mega.
signing off.